Well, hey everybody, welcome back. I am Fist-25 and we're going to talk about ReShade in this video. This is, I don't know, fourth or fifth video about ReShade, but this is 3.17.2, and in preparation for patch 3.18, I wanted to go over ReShade, and I have a brand new filter for you coming at you right now. Okay, everybody, so welcome back. I'm sitting here in the cargo area of my Titan, and we're actually going to go fly around a little bit, and I'm going to show you some new ReShade filters. We're going to start with what regular game looks like, then we're going to turn on ReShade, then we're going to use the NVG filter, we're going to use the mining filter, and then we're going to use the new Infra-Red filter. So 4 filters: default, NVG, the mining where it's too bright and it darkens it up, and then the super bright infrared filter. And then I'm going to show you basically how to install ReShade 5.4.2, which is the most current version as of September 28th, 2022. And I'm going to go over a little bit of troubleshooting. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get this thing started. All right, everybody, so here is the game with ReShade turned off. Now, we are looking at the moon Yella, which is a moon of Crusader, and right now it's nice and bright, and the game looks as good as it has always looked. Because this game has amazing graphics, right? Everybody likes the graphics in Star Citizen. But for me, this image is a little bit washed out, and what I think CIG's creators have tried to do is create a balance between having enough brightness, which is enough gamma, and having enough contrast and to make you be able to see the details and all that stuff. But there are things with changing the way colors are filtered, and it can just make things pop better. That's why I like to use ReShade. It is by no means required. CIG also does not consider it cheating, so please keep that in mind. It is a whitelisted product. They have disabled depth buffer features, so you can't actually use it like you used to be able to, and you can't use it to hack the game. It is merely a graphical enhancement. And when we go into like the options for graphics here, we can actually go in here and mess with gamma, brightness, and contrast, and we can basically achieve the same effect in game settings. Or we can just use filters to do the same thing. So here is Yella right now without ReShade, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on in 3, 2, 1. Boom. That to me looks significantly different. The whites in these snow-capped mountains are whiter. The darks in the darker areas are darker. The grays have more contrast. They just pop a little better. I'm going to go ahead and give you another look at it. So this is with ReShade, this is without ReShade. I see a dramatic difference, because without ReShade it just looks flat, it looks washed out. With ReShade, just much more pop. But that is in a bright area, right? I don't want to show you the other filters just quite yet, because in this bright area they're not going to do you any good. I use regular ReShade for this. So let's go ahead and we're gonna pop down to a place on Yella that's dark, and we're gonna use the 2 modes that we have for darkness, NVG mode, and the new filter I have available, Infra-Red, and we'll take a look at what that looks like. Just hang tight. Okay, everybody, so we are back. We are here on kind of a dark side of Yella, moon of Crusader, and as you can see, the game, this is with ReShade on. The game still looks good. As we can see, there are things in the background that are lit. The rings around Yella here are lit. Part of Crusader over there is lit. And actually the station itself, I'm at mining area 157, that is lit as well. If we zoom in, Yeah, we can see there's a ship up there. It's got a brightly lit dot, but we can see the lit areas around the station. But as far as the mountains are concerned, those aren't lit very well, right? And it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be dark. But what do we have? We have technology that helps us. Before I turn on NVG mode and Infra-Red mode, let's turn this ReShade off. There's ReShade off. Now, actually, we can see better because with the stock game settings, the whites are there's a little bit higher gamma, and things are brought out more. You can more easily see the game. But I think my personal opinion is Crusader doesn't look as good, the rings don't look as good, but I can see better in the dark just turning ReShade off. When I turn it on, though, everything is just a little more contrast, darks are darker, etc., etc. And I can see better. I like it better. I like the picture better. So let's go into probably the darkest area over here. Looks like there's a mountain in front of us, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on NVG mode. Okay, so there is NVG mode, and what this does is it brightens up the screen a little bit, and it adds a green tint, right? So it looks like modern day NVGs. We can see that this little mountain here ahead of us much better, right? So it kind of it's a little more immersive to me using this mode. I'll switch back to regular. I'm sorry, that's the mining filter. So there's regular ReShade, NVG mode, and I'll go ahead and turn ReShade off. You can see it's almost like turning ReShade off. They're just adding a green tint to make things kind of stand out. But using this NVG mode, yeah, it tints everything green. You can see obstacles, you can see the ground, I can see objects better. Like I can see the mining area much better, right? There we go. I can see much better right there. So that is NVG mode. That is what I typically use. One of our users in the Sons of Valhalla is, well, a couple of our different users have been using what's called what they're calling Infra-Red. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And it's bam, it takes a minute to come up. This is Infra-Red mode. What this does is basically raise the gamma and the brightness way up. So even though we're on the dark side of a moon right now, it almost looks like it's light outside, because it pulls a lot of this available light and it really just cranks up the brightness. You can see everything is super washed out right now, the station, but you can still clearly see the station ahead of us. You can clearly see the ground and everything like that. So in areas where it's really super dark, hey, this is that futuristic tech that we can see. So here's ReShade off, and here's Infra-Red mode on. Going back to NVG mode, which is this, you can see it's just not quite as bright. So let me know what you guys think about Infra-Red mode here. It does take a second to come on, but when it does, things are very clearly visible. I'm going to go ahead and fly over to the station. We'll take a look at some closer up details and see what Infra-Red mode kind of looks like. The thing I like about Infra-Red mode is it doesn't have a tint to it. So I can clearly see reds, greens, so, I can still clearly see different colors. So, like I said, everything is pretty washed out, but I can still see it. It's pretty crazy. I'm going to turn the lights on the Titan. Oh, but now it's super washed out. Way too bright for me. I don't think you need your ship's lights at all when using this mode. Now, I'm going to turn NVG mode on. Here's NVG mode. I just think it looks really cool there. It's immersive, but it is hard to make out some of the different colors. If I turn the ship's lights on, it's more of a spotlight effect, like it should be, and it should be bright white. So very much like an immersive NVG. We'll turn the lights off. Let's go back to regular ReShade mode, which there's Infra-Red, there's mining, NVG, there's regular ReShade mode. And things are darker here, right? As it should be. If I turn on the lights, it gives me that bright white light like you would normally see. If I turn off ReShade, here's what it looks like. It still looks washed out, but it's still very close to the same image. So ReShade on, ReShade off, ReShade on. Okay. The last mode we're going to go to is we're going to look at the mining mode. So I need to go to a very bright part of this moon. If I can find the brightest part, we're going to go there, and then I'm going to show you what we use for mining mode on moons like Selen and other moons that are just extremely bright. Lyria is a really good, we actually call it the Lyria filter, because Lyria can just be a whiteout, and this will darken up the screen considerably. So let me get out of here, and we'll be right back. All right, everybody. So we are back here on a very bright spot at the moon of Yella. You can see I'm surrounded by snow and all that type of stuff here. There are other moons that are even brighter white here, and when the snowstorms come, it can get pretty nasty. This is actually with regular ReShade on. I'm going to go ahead and take ReShade off. It does flatten out the image a little bit. It makes the whites a little bit duller. So maybe mining is easier, but it's hard for me to see the reticle in the middle of the screen. Can you see the white parts around this kind of blue parts around here? They're hard to see unless I'm zoomed in. When I zoom out, they almost just blend in with the background. When I turn ReShade on, it makes it even worse because it does make the whites whiter. So this very light white blue here can be very hard to see, and people have had a lot of issues with being able to see the mining laser, the controls on the screen. So a couple of guys, I think Mr. Boy and another guy over at Cobra TV developed kind of a Lyria mining filter, and we're going to go to that now. So it's not NVG. Let's see how bright NVG is. So here is the darkened filter. And notice it's still not that dark. It is still extremely white out here, but it does darken it up. I can actually see the reticle on the screen now. If you notice my cockpit here, it's all very dark. Let me go ahead and turn ReShade off. So now you can see it's much wider. I can see much more of the cockpit. When I turn it on, it darkens it up considerably. So as we kind of head towards the surface here, it kind of looks like just ReShade is on, and I'm not in this area that is extremely bright white. So you can imagine coming down here and trying to mine some kind of a rock down here, that it would be very hard to do. So that's why we have this mining filter. I'm going to go ahead and bring up ReShade here on the screen, and you'll be able to see that this one is in fact called Lyria Mining, this filter. The next filter is Night Vision, again, because it's so white outside, it's very bright. Our default preset. So from default to mining. A little adjustment can go a long way. And then Infra-Red is just extremely, it's a whiteout. It's super bright. So there we go. I will go back to our default preset and close the window. All right, everybody. So this is the part of the video where we're actually going to talk about how you install ReShade or uninstall ReShade and all the things you can do. Basically, how to get it onto your system for Star Citizen. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring up a little folder here, and we're going to head on over to my Star Citizen directory. From here, we're going to go into the live folder. This works the same way in PTU that it does in live. So if you want to install it for PTU, feel free to. You're going to choose the PTU folders. So for right now, if I go into the bin64 folder, and if I start scrolling down, I will see right here is my starcitizen.exe. That is the executable for the game. I do have other files in here like reshade.ini and my reshade log file and things like that. I also have my reshade presets in here as well as my reshade shaders. So the quickest way I have found to get rid of ReShade is to actually go back here and just delete the bin64 folder itself. Empty your recycle bin and then go back into the game launcher and verify files. It'll re-download all those files in bin64, which are not large. It takes very little time to do that, because it's not these huge files that make up Star Citizen. It's very small files, and then you can just straight up reinstall ReShade into that executable. That's one way of doing it. The other way that some people I have seen do it has they've actually gone in here to the ReShade installation here, ReShade 5.4.2. They've gone in here and they've actually browsed for Star Citizen, and you can actually do uninstalls using the ReShade installer, I believe. But we're not going to do that today. Today we're going to show you how to uninstall ReShade right here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to delete bin64. Boom. Of course I have Star Citizen running, so let me quit that. Of course it's not going to work doing that. Keep our launcher handy. We're going to delete bin64. Bin64 is gone. Now keep this. I'm going to keep this window up here. I'm going to go into my Star Citizen launcher here. I'm going to go over to settings. It says analyze game files. I'm going to click on verify. So the game is the launcher is basically going to go into a sort of like a verify files mode. It's been having weird issues today, but it's basically going to download a manifest right here. Phase downloading the manifest, which is a list of all the game files. So it's looking at what I have on my system and what I'm missing, and it's downloading game files right now. And yes, I do have pretty quick internet, but boom, that was it. Now I have a brand new set of game files. If I go back to my folder here in bin64, look, bin64 is back right here. My executable's in here. I have no ReShade files in here. I don't have a presets or a shaders folder. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like I don't have ReShade at all. I'm going to go ahead and minimize my folder, and I'm going to go to the ReShade website. It is reshade.me. There should be a link in the description below, or you can just Google ReShade. It'll take you here to this homepage. Now, I'm warning you ahead of time, ReShade has had issues in the last week or so. You may be getting some kind of attacks or something, but the homepage has failed to load numerous times. It's not your computer. It's not my computer. It's something with their server or whoever's hosting their site. I have hit refresh maybe 2 or 3 times, and then the page does come up. So just to let you know that, and in case we run into that. For ReShade, we're going to click on right on the top, the purple download button. It's going to take us down to the latest version. And so if there's another version, like if you're watching this video later, there might be 5.4.3 or 5.5 that comes out. This is where you get the very latest version. We're going to go into archives in a minute. 5.4.2 was released on September 16th. It is the newest. It's 12 days old at this point. So what you're going to do is just hit the green button, download ReShade 5.4.2. I'm going to keep the file here, and it's already done and it's downloaded. Now it should, wherever your download folder is, it should be stored there. I use Google Chrome here, so I'm just going to click it. As soon as you start it and it runs the ReShade executable, it's going to search for all these different games on your computer, which means, yes, you can install this for different games. But Star Citizen is not a released game. So Star Citizen is not going to be in the game or application here. You do need to come down here and click on the browse button for Star Citizen. You must click browse. So now I hit browse. I'm going to go to wherever you store Star Citizen. I keep it in a different place. Most people keep it on their C drive. Mine is actually, I have a shortcut up to it. I have it on its own dedicated dim.2. But if you're like, for most people, it'll be C:, Program Files, Robert Space Industries, Star Citizen. Then you're going to go into the live folder, and you're going to go into bin64. Do not choose Star Citizen Launcher. You want to go into bin64. Here is your executable, starcitizen.exe. Click on that. Click on Open. Next, you're on the ReShade installer, you're going to click on Next. That brings you to the rendering API. One day in the future, this will be Vulkan, but Star Citizen right now, 3.17.2 and 3.18, as far as I know, it is running on DirectX 11.1. So it's not OpenGL, it's not DirectX 9, it's DirectX 10, 11, 12. Make sure this radio button is checked. Then you're going to hit next. Then it's going to say, select the preset to install. I skip this because I'm going to install my own presets later. So I just hit next, not skip, I hit next. Then it's going to ask, select the effects packages to install. Standard effects and suite effects is what's turned on by default. And that's what I use. If you want to use all this other stuff, feel free. I don't use it. I don't need it for my presets. So these are the only ones that are chosen. So I will then just once again click next. And then it's going to come up with select the suite FX files to install. I don't change any of the stuff. I keep all these FX on here. And I'm going to click next. So I don't change anything. I just click next again. And that's it. I got the check mark. If you want to support ReShade, you can become one of their patrons and stuff. And then I click finish. That's it for installing it. Let me bring my folder back up. Now you can see in the bin64 folder is ReShade shaders. In here are different shaders, different textures. Okay. So from there, the only place I am currently hosting my shaders, my presets, is on my Discord. Link to the, the link of the Sons of Valhalla Discord is in the description below. Why do I do this, and why don't I host it on like Dropbox or something like that? Because I want people to come over to the Discord, and if you're having trouble, you can post in the public chat. If you're having any other issues, you can ask the questions in there. You can find the ReShade files in there. You can show us a picture of your cat in there if you want. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in there, and we have some really cool members that are really helpful. And of course, I want to promote my organization a little bit, right? So let me drag my Discord over to this screen. So when you first come into the Sons of Valhalla Discord, right, it says Sons of Valhalla up here, you're going to be on this welcome page. Actually, I don't think you are going to be on this page. You're going to be on some kind of a start here page. But basically, all of this stuff here under Sons of Valhalla Public, all of this is going to be available for you. The whole thing is going to be available for you. You're actually going to be on the start here page. My apologies. On the start here page, as a plug for my Discord, sorry. If you want access to all the other stuff in the Discord, well, obviously not moderator or VIPs, but or subscriber stuff, but the mining Discord, the space engineers, content creation, Java with Jawa, our live stream, our missions and in-game channels here, which I have some people playing right now, which is all that stuff. You have to go down here and click on these icons. And it gives you the directions on what to do here. You don't have to do that, guys. It's not required. But if you want to do that and you want to unlock those rooms, then you have to click on one of the icons for the rooms you want to unlock. With that being said, over here on the left, it says ReShade. Obviously, you're going to click on ReShade. Once you click on that, it takes you to the ReShade channel. I have this channel locked down where only myself and other moderators and people like Jawa can post in here. This I just updated, I think just a couple days ago on the 25th. So this has the most current version of ReShade 5.4.2 on it. I don't modify ReShade in any way. If you want to download it from the ReShade website, feel free. But it's also on here in case you need it. I also have my presets on here, and it gives you kind of a little bit of directions. Tells you, hey, you know, grab the version of ReShade from the website. And it basically tells you all you're going to do is download these presets, and then you're going to drag the folder into your bin64 folder. And it comes with the HDR Plus, which is, I call a default preset, NVG, Infra-Red, and the mining ReShade. And all you got to do is click on this little link right here, and it'll download shaders. Now we're going to touch on this in troubleshooting a little bit later. I've seen some issues with some people with current version of ReShade 5.4.2 having issues with AMD graphics cards, specifically AMD graphics cards. Those folks have had to revert back to 5.2.1 or earlier for their ReShade to work. Excuse me, it still works exactly the same. I'm not sure what the updates are from 5.2.1 to 5.4.2, but I have not seen any difference in how it affects the game in Star Citizen. That's probably something that ReShade has to address, because you get an error when you try to start Star Citizen. It gives you a DirectX error, and I've only seen that with AMD cards, so please be aware of that. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and click on ReShade presets right here. It's going to say potentially dangerous download. There's no viruses in here. Feel free to virus scan it if you want. I don't care. All it is presets for ReShade. And I hit continue to download. What that's going to do is it's going to download inside of your web browser, and you click it to open it up wherever your downloads are kept, or if you click it like here I did in Chrome, it comes up with presets and ReShade shaders. Now, this ReShade shader folder, I have just updated the this folder with the most current 5.4.2 ReShade shaders. This folder right here that was installed by ReShade and this folder are the same. However, you don't have to install that folder, and we're not going to in this case. All you need to do is drag the presets over into bin64. Copy it over. You can drag it over, or you can hit Control-C right here, or you can right-click it and hit copy. Go over to bin64. Click in the white space somewhere. Don't click on a file. Don't click on a folder. Click on the white space and just hit Control-V to paste, or right-click and hit paste. Boom. It's that fast. It copies over the presets. When we go into the presets folder, this is all it is, guys. It's INI files. The default preset, Infra-Red, Lyria Mining, and Night Vision. And all this is it gives information to ReShade saying, hey, make sure you set the HDR power to this, the radius to this. It's basically saying, tint the screen in this way to achieve this effect. So I'm saying don't worry about like viruses or anything like that. I wouldn't be promoting this and putting it on YouTube if that was the case. So with that, we can then close the download. And when we go back into bin64, I now have all my ReShade files. I have ReShade INI, ReShade log. The really important file that you do not need to touch is dxgi.dll. Back in the old days of ReShade, you had to actually rename that to a different name. We're not going to go over that because you don't have to do that anymore for Star Citizen. You actually don't want to do that because it'll probably give you an error. But here we have our presets. We have our ReShade shaders. We're ready to go. Now, before I start talking about troubleshooting, I do want to bring Star Citizen back up. So here's the launcher. We're just going to go ahead and launch game. We're going to acknowledge, and we get the screen with Easy Anti-Cheat. And some of the errors with the AMD cards might be because Easy Anti-Cheat's trying to figure out ReShade stuff, and it's whatever. It's looking for different files, it's looking for modified files. But ReShade was whitelisted by CIG, and it is supposed to fully work with everything. So here's the Star Citizen screen on the very top, ReShade 5.4.2. It's in there. If you don't see that, ReShade is not turning on. Just letting you know that out of the bat. Because I have a fresh install, we're going to have to go in here and play with the settings. So once Star Citizen actually fully launches, we'll see that ReShade on the very top. It's kind of doing its effect type of deal. And there we go. So now we're in Star Citizen. This is no ReShade presets. This is regular Star Citizen. On the very top here, it says press home to skip the tutorial, which we're going to do. And so I'm going to hit home right now. When I hit home, it brings up the ReShade screen like, hey, this is the tutorial. I'm going to hit skip because this is not how to use necessarily ReShade and its effects like that. It's just basically how to do presets. So I'm going to hit skip because I don't like to see that thing on top of my screen all the time. So as you can see, the ReShade shader preset, look, there's nothing in there. If I click the left and right arrows, nothing happens, right? If I go to add-ons, there's nothing there. We'll get to settings in a minute. I'll come back to that. Statistics, I don't look at that ever. The log file, I don't look at unless there's errors. And then there's an about section in here. When I go to home, I have to actually put in where my presets are for Star Citizen. So if you're not getting the screen at all, ReShade's not installed correctly, or it's not working or something like that. When I click on this guy, one click, it knows that it's in Star Citizen Live bin 64. If you don't have your Star Citizen folder, your bin 64 folder up here, you need to navigate to it. You can either use the 2 dots to go back, or if you're already there, you just want to go into the presets folder here. Double click presets, and actually you can probably just hit select from right there. Actually, let me go ahead and choose default. I'll hit select. Now you just saw the screen actually change. So it went from what it was before, which was the no ReShade, to ReShade. You can hit the left and right buttons to switch between the different presets. So there's, boom, there's Infra-Red right in your face, super bright. There's the Lyrium Mining ReShade, much darker. There's my Night Vision ReShade, and then back to default. So now that we've seen that, it shows you what effects it's using. Curves, gamma, HDR, sharpen, vibrance, and levels. When you go to settings, this is actually important for me because I don't use the default directories and all that stuff. The only thing I'll show you what I change on here. When I do the screenshot, I keep it as print screen, which is also Star Citizen screenshot key. But I have ReShade actually save this stuff. So I will click on the, I'm sorry, I probably went too fast. So the screenshot path here, I'll click this little folder. Then I'll go back. Well, it's in the Star Citizen directory. So I just choose screenshots, and then I double click that, and then I hit select. Now it's going to save all screenshots that are ReShade in that folder. Then it gives like the default kind of name for the screenshot, and then the format for the screenshot, which I use PNGs. I keep all these defaults here. You can have it save an image without ReShade and with ReShade. If you want, you can set that up here. Before and after images is what it's called. Okay, what else is on here? It's in 4K for me, so it's actually really small. Post save command, working directory, etc., etc. I take off show screenshot message because I usually take screenshots when I stream or when I make videos. I don't want the little thing saying screenshot saved, but you're more than welcome to keep that on, so I will uncheck that. And that is really about it for that. Now I do change the keys layouts for myself. So for the overlay key, I just kind of click that, and then instead of home, I use alt home. For my effect, the only other things I change is the effect toggle key. I use alt scroll lock for that, so I'll click that, and I'll just type in my computer. I'll hold down alt, hit scroll lock. That's what turns ReShade on and off for me. And then I use the next preset key. I use alt page down. And for the previous preset key, I use alt page up. That's it. That's all my settings set up. So now if I hit alt home, that menu goes away. If I take a screenshot, it kind of flashed for a second, but you didn't see anything on the screen. If I hold down alt page down, it changes to infrared. Alt page down again, it's the mining filter. Alt page down again, it's NVG. Alt page down again, it's back to default. So I can easily switch between those four pretty darn easily. And then if I hit alt scroll lock, it turns ReShade off, ReShade on, ReShade off, ReShade on. So there you go, guys. That's how to install it for Star Citizen, specifically with NVIDIA cards. Okay. Now, if you go back to the ReShade homepage, there are repositories for older versions of ReShade. It is kind of a pain in the butt to get it, but you can get there. You basically, the way I was learning to do it is I could go to the forum here. If you click on forum, it'll take you to this website here, right? The ReShade website here. And on this forum, it talks specifically about 5.4. And then it'll talk about all the other previous patches, right? 5.3, 5.2, etc., etc. After a patch is released, the next patch is released, they lock out the current patch comments. because they like to troubleshoot the current version. I will put the link for the ReShade repository in here. If you actually search in their forum under ReShade discussion ReShade repository, you'll get this website to come up. It's still on ReShade, and it talks about you can go to all these different pages to look for ReShade, older versions of ReShade. I actually use the one that's on MediaFire here, so it's actually this guy right here, ReShade repository. Click here. And under ReShade repository, when that website comes up from MediaFire, you can basically go and pick any version you want. Here's version ReShade 5.0, and here's 5.2.1.exe. That is a repository. Only people that are using AMD graphics cards that have, or NVIDIA, that have issues with ReShade not working, should you go back to previous versions. And honestly, it's not that hard and not that tenuous to troubleshoot this. 5.4.2 is not working. Try 5.4.1. That's not working. Try 5.4.0, 5.3, 5.2.1. The latest version I have seen work on issues on an AMD card that has 5.4.2. That cat is meowing. Is 5.2.1. So please keep that in mind. Any other issues? Please let us know in the Discord. We can try to help you out and try to work with you and figure this out. I don't know what else to say after that. We're not wizards. We can't make everything work. I do hope it does work for you. It adds immensely to my game. I can't play Star Citizen without it anymore. So thank you guys for watching. We're going to head on out to the outro. Little FOIP and VoIP going on. And good luck with ReShade, my friends. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you taking your time to learn about ReShade and to maybe kind of figure stuff out for yourself. If I have earned your like on the video, please consider liking and subscribing to help our channel grow. If you have issues with ReShade, please stop by the Sons of Valhalla Discord. It is in the description below. We have a lot of guys who use ReShade, including myself, and we answer questions and help troubleshoot on a regular basis. So with that, I'm going to leave you here. Please enjoy ReShade, enjoy the rest of your day or night. Take care of yourselves, and good night, Stanton.